Welcome back to another on-base baseball video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp, and I am the creator and designer of On-Base Baseball. I thought I would do a little blast from the past today. Um, I was asked to do an interview for Sports Sim magazine, and so I've been working through that. And some of the questions have to do with, how did this come about? Um, how did um, how did you get into creating the game and some of your like sort of older memories and things like that. So I've been reminiscing a little bit. It's been probably 2 years since I started working on base baseball, at least 2 years, maybe a little bit more. It's been almost 1 year since the first release of the 2019 cards, which was the first sort of visible on base production. And I really got to thinking about, kind of reminiscing about, where it came from, where the game sort of sprung from, and where it came out of. And this, what I'm showing you on the screen, is something I just put together yesterday. I have a lot of these pieces that I've just been building over the last few years, and so it looks like, there's a lot going on, but I'm actually copying and pasting quite a few things like the dice roller and stuff like that. You'll recognize it from the online dice roller, and some of the other components are not too difficult to code. So um, this is called Aruba Baseball, and I got this not necessarily the game like as I created it here, but this part here, in the middle. So really, this is the game engine. Uses 2d6 dice, and you can play it very quickly. This is just sort of an old dice baseball game that I found from a website talking about the history of dice baseball. And now dice baseball has been around for almost as long as baseball has been around, and people have been using dice or cards to create the percentages, to create the random percentages of what's going to happen, right? So so this is kind of a cool blast from the past just to be able to play this. And I didn't take everything directly from here. I kind of mixed and matched some different parts of different games, although this is sort of the game engine that I started with. So this is really, if you want to get to the very heart of on-base baseball, this is one of the game engines that I used. There was another one called America's National Pastime, I think, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the name of it was. I'd have to look it up. But there were a couple of games sort of blended together, and what made this particular game unique was that the batting averages were about 285, 286. So that puts you a little above average, right? But it puts you pretty close to doable baseball. I think the actual major league average, at least these days, is about 255 for the league. So you're a little hotter than normal, but it does lead to some, relatively realistic results. I mean, you're going to get some 10 to 8 ball games and stuff like that, but probably not any 2-1 affairs with this game. If you just look at here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 opportunities. And so on every roll, you have a 1 out of 11 chance. Now, 1 out of 11 chance is about a 9% chance. Now, a 9% home run chance is a little hot. So the major league average is about 2.5 to 3.5%. So 9 is a little hot. That is true. And with the single percentage, that's pretty much, it's a little hotter than normal. It's what is this, 18%, 20%, and the major league average in any given year is somewhere between 15 to 17%. So that runs a little hotter than normal as well. You have a 9% double chance, and you have an equally 9% triple chance. So there is going to be some scoring in a game like this because these are out of whack. Triples are about 1%. of all plate appearances, and doubles they hover around 4 or 5%. So if you had a double and an out here, and you rolled again, and half of them were one way, half were the other way, that would be normal. All right, so and strikeouts are here on the 7, and with the 7, that's a 9% strikeout rate, which is it actually comes up quite a bit, but that's even about half of what historically the strikeout rate is. The strikeout rate here is, you're talking about the dead ball era. That's that kind of strikeout rate. So if you like home runs and scoring, and you don't like strikeouts, this is a really good game engine for you. so, so I went through, and you can actually play this, but then I went through and I modified, sort of based off of what you see here. Some of these things here, these sort of extra. If it's, there are many ways to get to an 8, but if it happens to be a double, 4-4, then there's a double play and the lead runner's out, right? So I just sort of broke some of those things out. You can see that here. That's the same one. But then, there's a 3-5. That's an out. There's a 2-6. That's an out. And so I just sort of broke out what those things might be if you broke it out into the 24. So this is sort of the 24 chances that you get whenever you break these all into their individual things. I don't know. Opportunities, chances, I guess. There's only one chance to hit a triple. That's a 1-1. There's only one chance to hit a double. That's a 1-2. And then the rest of these. So when you have 24, now all of a sudden a triple is 1 out of 24. Which, if I do my calculations and my math, is a 4% chance. So still a little hot for a triple at 4%. But for a double, that's spot on. For a single, that's 4, 8, 12%. That's a little low for the singles. So you could even make this sort of a triple or a single. And then that would get you to the right numbers. Strikeouts are 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 opportunities. That's a 12% strikeout rate, which is a little bit better, but still a little under for most time periods, way under for right now. The walk percentage is 8%. That's historically spot on. And home runs are 1 out of 24, which is a 4%, which is a little bit hot even for today, but that's a little better than the other. So I don't know that everything changes so much with this one. You can see I played a game that was 10-4 in 9 innings, and I'll just go through and play this game. But I just wanted to show just the fact that this is sort of the baseline. This is the kind of thing that I did. This is part of the progression of getting to where we got to with on-base baseball. Thought it might be interesting for people to see that. So this is sort of the baseline. If you just wanted to play with two dice and roll them out and play a game, you could, with these outcomes right here. And if you wanted it to be a little bit more advanced, and in fact I could go through and make some of these splits. So if you roll this, then you roll again, and if it's this, then this, and if it's this, then that, and that would help to break out. Then you could get things down to, if you did a 50-50 split, you could get it down to each of these is about 4%, 4.1%, 4.2%. So if you get that down to about 2%, you get a little bit more granular statistics. So let me just go ahead and play this game. I don't think it'll take too long. You can see I've set it up, and it's just home visitor, so it's not really broken out by players, but you could easily just take two rosters, two lineups of players, and go through each one and play it out, keeping some basic stats for each player. Obviously, we only have out here. We don't have flyouts or groundouts or anything like that. There's no advanced base running or anything like that. So that was sort of what came afterwards, right? So once you start playing it, you're like, oh, okay, you got like a solid game engine here. Now, I don't just want an out, I want a fly out. And then if I have a fly out, what happens when there's a fly out on the bases, right? So then you start to get into baseball. But right now, this is just kids' game, rolling the dice. If you had a kid and you wanted to just teach them the basics of baseball, this kind of stuff would be really great. In fact, this one here is even better, just because it's simpler. So, top of the first. So we got our visitor over here, and that's a 2-6. A 2-6 is going to be an out. A 2-4 also an out, so 2 outs in the inning, and that's a 1-6. That's going to be a strikeout. So we get to the bottom of the first, still no score. 2-5 is a 7, and that's going to be a strikeout. All 7s are going to be strikeouts, so you can kind of remember that too. 5-5, that's a walk. And a 2-6 is going to be an out. And usually only advance the runners wherever it says, if there's a single or a hit. This one advances the runners 2 bases. A 1-5 is a 6, and that's going to be the third out of the inning. So we go to the second, and when we click up here to the inning, and we make it go up to the next inning, it automatically resets the bases, the outs are reset, the visitor is chosen over here. This is just to help you keep track of who in the world is batting. A 3-5 is an 8, so that's going to be an out. A 2-6 we've established is an out. A 1-5 is going to be an out. So 3 up, 3 down goes the visiting team. 2-4, that's going to be an out. A 1-5, same thing, that's going to be an out. And another 1-5. So 3 up, 3 down for the home team. So still no scores to go to the third inning. A 1-6, that's going to be a K. And a 3-5 is an out. A 6-5 or a 5-6 is going to be a single. So a 2-out knock for the visiting team. A 1-2, that's going to be a double. So a 2-out double pushes the runner to third base. And I haven't been playing with the 2 outs, you get an extra base. So that will keep the score down as well a little bit. And there's a 3-4, and a 3-4 is going to be a strikeout. So that's a 7, right? So it's a strikeout. And so we get second and third, but the visiting team can't bring them home. And so we go to the bottom of the third. A 4-5 is a sacrifice fly, so that's basically with nobody on. That's just going to be a fly out. A 1-5 is an out. A 2-3 is also going to be an out, and that's the third out of the inning. So we go to the top of the fourth, still no score. 1-6, that's a strikeout. 1-4 is an out. You can see here. And a 2-2, that's going to be a single. So a 2-run single. A 2-out single. There's a 5-6. 5-6 is going to be another single, so runners at first and second base. And a 3-4 is going to be a K, so the visiting team strikes out with 2 on. 1-3, that's going to be a base knock to get the inning going. A 3-5 is an out. A 2-4, also an out. And a 1-5, also an out. So third out of the inning. We go to the top of the fifth, no score. There's a 5-5, it's going to be a leadoff walk. A 4-5 is going to be a sac fly, so charge and out, but then the runner gets to go to second on the tag up. There's a 3-4, it's going to be a strikeout. And with the runner at second and 2 outs, 3-5 is going to be an out. So visiting teams had some opportunities to score, but just can't bring them home. It'll be a strikeout to begin the bottom of the fifth. There's a 2-3, that's going to be out number 2. And a 4-4 is going to be a double play with the lead runner out. So that's going to be an out, a ground ball. Any 8s are outs. This just happens to be a specialized out for an automatic double play. So that's the end of the fifth. Still score tied at 0. 5-6. There's a leadoff single. 2 singles in a row. So runners at first and second. 3 singles in a row. And that's a 4-5. That's going to be an out, but we're going to get a run in. So the visiting team takes a 1-0 lead. There's a 2-6. 2-6 is going to be an out with no advancement. And a 1-5. That's going to be out number 3, but the visiting team does get on the board first as they score on a sac fly. There's a 2-4. That's going to be out number 1. 4-5 is a fly out for out number 2. And a 2-4 again. Third out of the inning, so the home team goes 3 up, 3 down. The visitors are up 1-0 as we go to the top of the 7th. It's a 1-4, and that's going to be out number 1. A 2-4 is out number 2. And a 3-4 is a strikeout for out number 3. So go to the bottom of the 7th, home team down 1-0, and let's see if they can get a rally. So 2-6 is first out of the inning. 1-5 is going to be second out of the inning, and a 2-2, they get a 2-out knock, and a 3-4 is a strikeout for the third out of the inning. So head to the top of the 8th, visiting team up 1-0. There's a 2-5, that'll be a strikeout, and a 2-6 is going to be an out, and a 1-5 is going to be the third out of the inning. So 3 up, 3 down. Go the visiting team. Home team stands in. That's going to be a leadoff walk, so maybe a rally here. A 1-2, that's going to be a double, which puts runners at second and third with no outs in the inning. There's a 1-4. 1-4 is going to be an out. Let's see if they can come up with the big clutch hit, and they do. So that's a 2-run triple for the home team in the bottom of the 8th inning. Shouldn't have done that. And so a runner at third base with only 1 out, and that's a 1-3. A 1-3 is going to be a single, so that's a run-scoring single as the home team takes a 3-1 lead. And they're pouring it on now. A 2-2 is, it says the runners advance 2 bases. So this runner goes first to third, and still only 1 out in the inning. There's a 2-6, that's an out. And a 3-6 is also an out, so that's a 9 total. But the home team does come through with 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to take a 3-1 lead. And let's see if they can shut it down against the visitors. A 1-6 is going to be a strikeout for out number 1. 4-5, that's a fly out for out number 2. And a 3-6. So 3 up, 3 down go the visitors, and the home team keeps it close, sneaks by in the bottom of the 8th inning, and wins this one 3-1. So you can see this is a very simple game. Not difficult, but really fun to play, actually. If you were rolling dice, it could be fun as well, but this is just a way to sort of keep track of the game. Essentially, you could take this game engine and roll it out and keep score, with 2 teams. So, a lot of fun to play. One of the issues that you run into with games like this is they don't take each batter's talent into account. So every batter has the opportunity for a triple, the same opportunity for a triple or a double. Every batter has the same opportunity for a walk or a home run. And so it's, every batter has the same batting average, essentially, or at least the opportunity for the batting average. So this becomes a kind of a difficult thing whenever you want to do simulation. Now, if you just want to play a game, it's not such a big deal for most people because you're going to get some randomness because you're only, you got 5 at-bats, right? 4 at-bats for a game. So you're going to get a lot of crazy randomness that could just happen in any game. But if you wanted to play a season or you wanted to get, a couple hundred at-bats for each player, you're going to start to see that everyone is basically even in a lot of ways. It doesn't matter their skill level or their batting level. So that's where games come in with modifiers. That's where games come in with, for on base, I was doing the 4 different columns for batters because you need some way to be able to say, Mike Trout can't have the same opportunity for a home run as Ozzie Smith, right? It can't be the same. So it has to be different in some way and differentiated between those two types of hitters, at least for the home run. Maybe they have the same opportunity for a single, but not a home run. So you could easily modify this game even just by marking the batters and saying, okay, if a pitcher comes up with a home run, you need to roll again, and then there's a 1 out of 24 opportunity for him to hit a home run. So if he hits a 1, great for the pitcher hits a home run. Otherwise, whatever else is going to be a not home run. So you could do that with 2 dice. You could do that with um, either putting the dice together like this with 24, or you could just roll 2 dice and then combine to add them together to create a single number, and then that creates a 1 out of 11 chance. So whatever you want the numbers to be, whatever you think they should be for the simulation, that's how you go about sort of breaking it up. And the more opportunities you have, the higher the number in the denominator, the smaller the percentage. And you can match up those percentages historically with each player, doing some basic calculations just on their cards. A player who gets 600 at bats, hits 30 home runs, his home run percentage is going to be 4 or 5%. A guy who hits 10 home runs in 600 at bats, his home run percentage is going to be 1 or 2%. So you just have to kind of work out the numbers to see. In fact, let's see, 10 home runs in 600 plate appearances is 0.16, or 0.01. So that's about a 1.6% chance. It's 0.016. So it's about a 1.5% chance that he has for a home run. And so you can kind of work out the percentages that way by having some sort of modifier. And that's really how most people, I think, who are designing games are looking at the game. So, it wouldn't take much for you to create your own game starting from a game engine like this that already sort of starts out pretty basic, but then you can modify it to be the game that you want it to be pretty quickly. In fact, everyone could have, 2 shots at a home run. So, who knows? You can create whatever universe that you want. But if you're going for realism, then you start to modify even these results, which are even more modified than these results. But if you want to teach a kid how to play baseball, this is a really good one. Really fun. It's going to be a lot of scoring, and they get used to how to score, and you sort of take away the frustration if you played at this level. Obviously, this is a 3-1 game. The one I played over here before was, 15-8. So it's just a different style of baseball whenever you break it out like this, because there's fewer chances. There's fewer, the percentage is smaller for you to hit on some of these things. So just something to consider and think about. Hopefully this is a little fun trip down memory lane, and hopefully it's educational for you if you're interested in creating games. If you're interested, especially in creating baseball games, baseball is sort of a fixed universe that makes it a little bit easier because there's a lot of one-on-one interaction. And basketball, baseball, or football, that's a little bit more difficult because you don't have. It's a team sport, right? So many. There's a million different things that factor into every single play, and so factoring all those things into the game becomes very difficult. But in baseball, essentially, there's 3 parts of the game, and those parts happen in mostly a linear fashion. So it's pitcher to batter to fielder, right? So baseball can be a little bit more translated to the tabletop. It can be translated a little easier. I think that's all I got for now. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. Is this helpful? Is this interesting? I don't know. It's super interesting to me. And more than anything, I like to create the games than to play the games. So I play the games in order to show them and to get people excited about them. But to me, this part, the figuring out the puzzle, that's the part that I really it really gets me jazzed up, and that's the part that I love. And maybe that's what separates those of us who play from those of us who design, is what part sort of gets you going. Is it the replay or is it the creation? So for me, I like the creating part of it. Can I take this thing and can I break it down and make it so that it's playable by other people? I'll also share this link here, so if you want to play, if you want to play either one of these, I'll share both. It's called Aruba Baseball, and it was shared. It was shared personally. These guys went and did some research, and it was shared personally um, by someone who said, "Hey, these two guys from the Caribbean moved into our school when I was 6, 8, 10, whatever it was, and these two brothers taught me this dice baseball game." So he remembered it. He remembered playing it, and he gave, this is how we played. This was the game engine, and so that was able to be shared, which is really cool. And then this is sort of my breaking all of these things out into their logical places, right? So instead of um, an 11, instead of combining them together to create an 11, you have a 5, 6, which is an 11. That's the only way to get to the 11, right? But some of these, especially through the middle, there's many ways to get an 8, a 9, a 7, a 6. So there's lots of different ways to do that. And then you just break those things out into individual outcomes. You could essentially go through and make these whatever you want. You can make the outs more specific. You can create some line outs. You can create some pop outs, foul outs, and then that changes the face of the game and what's possible. So this is the roots of on-base baseball, and to some extent on-base advanced. Um, so all the games that I've created are sort of built out from the same foundation. Um, if you haven't clicked subscribe, click subscribe. I'm trying to put out more video content, so this is something I've been doing for many years on YouTube, so this feels natural to me and sort of perfect for the community. I think the community wants a little bit more video content. So hopefully this is scratching an itch that most people have. And if you click the bell after you click subscribe, then you'll be notified each time I post a new video, and you won't have to say, "Oh, does Zombase have a new video?" or wait for it to come out where I share it on social media. You'll be notified either through your email or through the app or both. And that way you'll just know when there's a new video. So that would be great. Subscriptions and likes. Click the like button, the little thumbs up. What that does is tells Google's algorithm, hey, this is good content. This is quality content that people appreciate and like, and you should show it to more people. And then the algorithm says, okay, that sounds good, and shows it to more people. And more people get exposed to the game, and they get exposed to tabletop baseball just in general, who might be looking otherwise for something else related to baseball. And these might be new tabletop players who just didn't even know that it existed. I didn't know tabletop baseball existed until 2 years ago. So I think a lot of people my age are sort of coming into the realization that this is a real thing and that there's a community here. So maybe we can grow the community that way just by clicking the like button. You never know. All right. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.